In the early 2000s, a quiet storm began gathering in northern Nigeria, a storm made of anger, ideology, poverty, and a dream. The dream to replace the Nigerian state with a new world ruled strictly by the Sharia law. This was how Boko Haram came into existence in Nigeria.
Because they rejected Western influences in education, local people started calling them Boko Haram.
The name Boko Haram is often translated as Western education is forbidden, but behind the name was a simple belief. The belief that Western education has influenced and corrupted Nigeria, and only a pure Islamic state, a caliphate, could save the Nigerian society. In 2001, a young preacher, an intelligent and brilliant Muslim by name Mohammed Yusuf, transformed this belief into a movement.
Sannan yana daga cikin akidansu akwai tashin kiyama yar karama raja'a da suke kiranta.
Mohammed Yusuf was charismatic, intelligent, and deeply passionate. He came from a modest family in Yobe State, northern Nigeria. He studied the Islamic texts and documentary more than anything else. And from these documentaries, he developed a powerful ideology. Mohammed Yusuf preached that Nigerian rulers were corrupt, that Western schools produced immoral leaders, that Muslims must reject modern government systems, and that a new caliphate must rise, ruled only by the Sharia law. Yusuf was so passionate about this ideology that young men, students, unemployed youths, desperate families paid keen attention to his teachings, and during the act of indoctrination, they believed hook, line, and sinker all the messages that Yusuf was passing across. No wonder in 2002, the sermons of Mohammed Yusuf had become a movement. By 2004, it had become a militant group. In 2004, Boko Haram created a base on the border of Yobe and Borno State. Their followers saw themselves as jihadist religious warriors. Some of Yusuf's followers had political connections, others were radicalized youths, and many were simply men searching for meaning in a broken system. They spread quietly into villages, into mosques, into local politics, into major northern towns. Their growth was slow but deadly.
As sporadic shooting continues, a crowd gathers further up the street in front of the police station.
In 2009, everything exploded. A clash with security forces escalated into a full-scale uprising. Cities burned. Hundreds died. It ended with the capture and the killing of Mohammed Yusuf. But his death did not end the movement. It only transformed the movement of Boko Haram. Yusuf was captured alive by the military and handed over to the police. Hours later, he was dead. His body was shown on live television, sparking outrage among his followers. The movement vowed for a revenge. Within months, Boko Haram rose again. More violent, more organized, more vicious. The government of Yobe and Borno State reached out for a negotiation, but the conditions given by the new Boko Haram leader was outrageous. Maybe this was the first mistake in tackling the issue that the government made. The government made a move to negotiate with these terrorists. The first condition that the terrorists gave them was that the police officers that led to the killing of their leaders should be brought out in the public and executed. The secondly, there should be due compensation for the families of their lost leaders. And thirdly, their jihad schools and mosques should be rebuilt.
bring back our army.
Shekau, the new leader of the Boko Haram movement, was silent for months. In the eyes of the public, it looked as though the Boko Haram movement has been halted, overpowered and conquered by the government. But unknowns to many, Shekau was secretly building an formidable strategy that will hit the nation on the 7th of September 2010. Gunmen stormed the Bauchi Federal Prison. They visited with explosions, gunfire, chaos. This led to the release of 705 inmates, out of which 105 were hardcore Boko Haram believers and fighters. It was at this moment that the insurgency returned, stronger, smarter, more ruthless, with Shekau as the ringleader.
Abubakar Shekau, leader of Nigerian terrorist group Boko Haram, has resurfaced in a new video insisting on releasing the missing Chibok girls only if the government agrees to a prisoner swap.
Abubakar Shekau's leadership was terrifying. There was little or no negotiation with the government. It was extremely violent. There were mass killings, public threats, and a global jihad ideology. Under Shekau, Boko Haram became a monster. This led the Nigerian government to declare a state of emergency. The military launched a full assault, but Boko Haram adapted, using guerrilla tactics, kidnappings, and suicide bombings. They infiltrated local communities. They set up hidden camps in Sambisa forest, and they expanded across Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. In 2014, Boko Haram carried out the deadliest attack in Nigeria's history. Over 10,849 deaths in 1 year. Explosions in crowded markets, ambushes on highways, night raid on villages, mass execution. These characterized 2014. On the 14th of April 2014, that same year, the world froze. Boko Haram stormed the government girls' secondary school in Chibok and abducted 276 girls. Though some escaped, many were forced into marriages. Others became mothers in captivity. Many are still missing. Their names echo through the history of Nigeria.
Bring back our girls. Oh, bring back our army. Bring back our army. Jonathan, girl, Christian, bring back our army.
In 2016, Boko Haram killed more people than ISIS. The world declared them the deadliest terrorist organization. Something remarkable happened that same year. The group split into two, and this led to the formation the Islamic State West African Province, ISWAP. They accused Abubakar Shekau of being too brutal even to Muslims. ISWAP aligned fully with ISIS. Their new leader was believed to be Abu Musab al-Banawi, widely reported to be the son of Mohammed Yusuf. This split meant that the insurgency grew even more complex, more unpredictable, and more dangerous. Let us pause a bit and ask a question. Why was the greatest Boko Haram incident in 2014 just few months to the presidential election? Why does it look as if this incident was used as a tool to overthrow the incumbent government of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan? Was Boko Haram used as a political tool by our governments?
The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming. It's not as if I couldn't have won the election even with that. But if by my own thinking and also the way some other people looked at it, they go outside the normal diplomatic relationship, then it should be mentioned.
In 2019, during the administration of late Muhammadu Buhari, with international supports, including the United States of America, the Nigerian military recaptured key territories. Dozens of Boko Haram camps were crushed. Hundreds of fighters surrendered. By the end of 2019, the government declared that the Boko Haram group has been tactically defeated. But the fight was far from over. Something was happening in our political structure. People sponsoring this Boko Haram movement resisted the Nigerian police force and the army from executing Boko Haram bandits that were caught. They pressured the then president, late Muhammadu Buhari, to enact a law that will allow ex-Boko Haram bandits to be reintegrated, rehabilitated, and reinfused into the Nigerian army. This was a disastrous decision that has come back to haunt the nation. Here is a typical example of what I'm talking about. Divided opinion amongst two Nigerian generals.
Not allowing the enemy to break into gaps between us. Boko Haram started because we protected them. They started as a small group, and if it had been nipped in the bud, we probably wouldn't have gotten to where we are today.
For everyone, you need to come on board. Boko Haram should lay their arms unconditionally and be accepted in the community. Opportunities are out there for them. They can be rehabilitated. An ex-Boko Haram stands having laid his arms and comes back, turns his way away from his negativity. He stands to be a president of this country. He stands to aspire to any position in this country.
The human cost due to the war against Boko Haram is staggering. Many towns have been emptied. Farmlands have been abandoned. Villages erased from maps. Millions displaced. Tens of thousands of innocent Nigerians killed. From Borno to Yobe to Adamawa, communities live with fear as a daily companion. Throughout this war, something strange kept happening. Soldiers were ambushed in places only insiders knew. Tactical plans were leaked. Operations were compromised. Commanders walking into traps they never expected. Security experts believe a sabotage, corruption, and internal sympathizers played a role. Not a single group, but a network of people benefiting from the chaos currently going on in Nigeria. For some, they believe that terrorism is now used as a tool in this country. For others, they saw it as a business strategy. For many, a political weapon.